Hey, besties.
Hey.
Welcome back for another episode of the Hello Bestie podcast. I'm Maggie.
I'm Tashima.
Today, we are going to be delving a little bit more into personalities, specifically the Enneagram. So if you guys are familiar with the book, get it out. We have ours here. Indeed, we will get to it shortly. But before we jump into that, we will start with our tea. What's your tea for the week?
My tea is I want to say one more time how much I hate the grocery store.
Okay.
If I haven't said it enough.
All right.
I went this morning so that we could have some snacks.
Snacks.
And I left there saying, this is why I don't like coming here. I went to the grocery store, got off all of my things. I'm in the lane, and the person who was checking me out and also the person who was bagging the groceries, they're much older than I am.
Okay.
And I just felt myself standing there feeling kind of sad. Like, oh man, these people are at the age where they really shouldn't be here doing this.
Oh, they were in retirement?
Yeah,
okay.
They're retirement age. And I just stood there just kind of in my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And also I was in my thoughts because it was taking a really long time.
I feel bad that you're here, and can we move it along, please?
Correct. But I was being patient because I'm like, it's not their fault that I'm rushing.
Correct.
So I was just reminding myself to be patient. And then in the meantime was like, wow, they really should be just, I don't know, playing shuffleboard or whatever people do retirement age. Not in Florida anyway. They turn up in Florida. And then the lady told me my total, which they always do. And I hate.
Which I love.
Because I just put my business all out on the street. And then she made this face at me like, let's just say hypothetically.
Okay.
It was like, let's just say 150. But it was more than that. And she was like, okay, $156.27. And then she made like these big eyes at me like, wow, that's a lot. And I just instinctively made the same eyes at her like, so, mind your business, Sharon. And so then I pay, and then the guy who's bagging, like, the lady at the register was waiting for him to finish instead of just helping him bag. Because, like, at Publix, they have bags on both sides.
Right.
So she could have sped it along, but she just stood there. And then the lady behind me, so everybody's then standing there watching him. But I very well can't walk around him and start bagging my own stuff. It would just be awkward, especially because the way that he was standing, it just wasn't possible.
Okay.
So then I was annoyed. And then I'm just standing there waiting, wishing that I could just disappear.
What is she doing? She's just standing there?
She's just standing there.
Oh.
Instead of just throwing some stuff in a bag. Like, come on.
It would be one thing if she was trying to engage in conversation with you to make herself look busy, but to just stand there.
Oh, then she started engaging in conversation, but with the lady behind me.
Wow.
And then they were talking about how many groceries I had.
No.
While we're waiting for this guy to finish bagging up my
What
stuff.
types of things were they saying? Like, oh, she must have a party that she's throwing or things like that? She was
just like, wow, that's a lot. That sure is a lot. And she's like, oh, yeah. But then I think the lady behind me, she must get it. Because she was like, oh, I do the same thing. I try not to come in here if I don't have to. And when I do, I just get all the things that I need. Yes, I come here once a month. So when I do, it looks like I'm buying the whole store. But again,
you felt very judged.
Neither one of your business. Mind your own things. So then I go to my car. This is a rant, but this just happened this morning, so it's just fresh on my head. And I was like, I can't wait to tell you about it because it's pissing me off. So then I go to my car. It was early in the morning, so it's like the parking lot is empty, and there's one person there, attendant, and he's just kind of like meandering around. So it's just like, please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. So then I go to my car and I start putting things in my car, and he stands behind my cart. So he's going in the parking lot to pick up random shopping carts.
Okay.
But it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. So they're really isn't any random shopping carts
He's
yet.
just trying to be outside.
So while I'm putting my groceries away, he just stands at the back of the cart and just starts talking to me while I'm unloading the cart, because he's clearly, as I peeped game like
Was he an older
7
guy?
spaces ago, he looked like he was middle age, but
Okay.
like not really good at social like cues, body language.
Mhm.
And I knew when I saw him and he paused and he saw me that he was going to wait for my cart. But that doesn't mean that you have to wait with me at my car.
Right.
That means go pretend to do something, and then when you see that I'm done, be like, oh, I'll take that for you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Great timing. That kind of thing. Don't stand at my cart. Watch me put all this stuff in my cart and then talk to me.
Did he offer to help you put the stuff in your car?
No, I would have declined.
No, I know, but
No.
that just seems awkward to not.
No, he was just standing there with his hands on the cart. And I
He's like waiting to just push away as soon as you're done.
Yeah. And I like to put things in certain places of my car, depending on like how I pull up to my house, things that can fall. So I didn't want everything to be on this one side. But because he was holding the cart, I basically had to put everything on one section of the car. And then he was just talking about random things, and I was just like, good gosh.
Were you just like smiling and barely? Yeah.
I wasn't rude, but on the inside, I was very rude.
Right.
And then after I was done, he still was talking to me. He was talking about just the most random things. And I was like, oh, all right then, you have yourself. I was like, this is why I can't come out in public. But yeah, so that was my long-winded tea for the day.
Pushed all your buttons at the grocery store
first thing in the morning where I'm like, I already don't want to be here, but I did enjoy going first thing in the morning. I think I need to do that more often.
Yeah, less people.
How about you?
My tea is that I got my pierced. I'm not sure of the correct pronunciation, but I've heard it. I've already had it pierced. I got this done last year.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it done last year. It took a while to heal. Okay. And I've always been afraid to kind of switch out the jewelry because it was a heart shape, and it's one of those you have to bend it and pull apart.
Okay.
And I actually went to a tattoo shop to have them switch out the jewelry the first time after I got it pierced. And I bought some new jewelry, and I love it. I switched it out. I'll show it to you.
Ooh.
I got a little hoop and switched it out. No pain. Easy peasy. And then I also kind of been getting an itch to get another like piercing. I've really been thinking about getting my tragus done, but I don't know if I want it done because it's like on the side of your face, and I wear makeup, and I just feel like it's going to be a whole healing thing.
It does take a long, I have it on this side.
Yeah.
And it does take a really long time to heal.
And see, everything that I read said that it didn't take as long as other piercings because of where it's at. But I'm like, I know how long it took this to heal. It took a whole year.
Yes.
Even a little bit longer, to where I could actually hit it and not feel anything or move it and it not turn red. It is fully healed now. Yeah. And I got this done New Year's 2023.
Yeah. I think of all of them, like on your ear, the tragus is the one that probably has the longest healing time, just because it's just like straight up cartilage. Yeah. Like it just, and it's in such an area where, you know, like on the inside of your ear, and you hit it on the outside and all of that stuff. So it does take a long time, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it's cute. I don't know if I want to go through with it just yet, maybe in the winter time, because like I won't be able to get in the pool or really do anything like that, and I ain't trying to mess up the rest of my summer with that.
Okay.
But a good thing is I've wanted to get my helix redone, which is like the upper cartilage. And I had it pierced before. I just thought it was closed, and I basically reopened it by myself. No problem. So it wasn't as closed as I thought it was. And I was like, that saved me a little bit of money going to get a piercing. So, yeah.
That's
been rocking some new piercings.
I thought you were saying that you just got another one. That's why I was like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't want both. I don't know. I don't want symmetry on both ears, as weird as it sounds.
I need symmetry.
Yeah.
So because I did my tragus on this side and the healing time is so long, I've had to wait to get the other side done. And it just makes me, I feel like I walk different.
Yeah, since I have my dowth on my left side, I want my tragus on my right hand side. And I have my helix pierced up here, but then I got the middle part of my ear over here. And I got this new little thing with the bead because I wanted to have it. We're on YouTube, so obviously you guys can see it, but for the audio listeners, I bought this little earring set where it's a hoop that goes into your like first hole in your earlobe, and then the second part can just go on any other piercing that you have on your ear.
Right, like a chain.
Yeah, like a chain, and I wanted to go to the middle here because I thought it would be cute, but then I can't reopen this one, so I just had to put it right here. So. Okay. Yeah. Well, the besties got a little lesson on piercings just then. All right. So I wasn't able to find a thread that I thought would be suitable for kind of relating to our topic, but I found an interesting question that I thought would lead us into our topic today.
Okay.
So this is from Reddit. Do you believe that a person's personality traits can change significantly over time? Why or why not?
I do. I really do. I think life experience and the things that we in circumstance can just really influence who we are. Now, I think at the core, we are still very similar, like who we are when we were kids. And I'm not talking like trauma. I'm just talking like just a person.
Right.
I think like our core is steady, but I think little things like our interests, what drives us and motivates us, I think that changes over time, especially like depending on who you're around. What about you?
I agree that personality traits can change over time if you really want to work at it and you notice something in yourself that you want to change. However, I do think that you're still going to have those natural inclinations based on your personality. You just learn how to handle it differently.
Right. You're more self-aware.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think to your point, I think your personality, like baseline, stays the same. That's kind of who you are to your core, but you can change the way that you would react in a situation versus how you would have previously reacted years ago based on different life experiences, lessons, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So getting into that and our personalities. So Tashima and I have both read The Road Back to You. Highly, highly recommend it. We were talking about it again before we started recording, and we both read it a little while ago, and we need to read it again. There's a lot of good gems just as you're going through. So
what I think, sorry to cut you off, I think it's so funny that you have the cover on yours. I always take the covers off my books.
Hence the grease stains that are on
yours. Looks like I got it from a college dorm.
I love that. Yeah, I always keep I get mad.
It's the first thing I do. I take them off.
I can't. I don't like the way they look without them. I didn't even think it was the same book, and I had to like peek through here. I was like, oh, okay. She's got the cover
hilarious. Yeah, it's got a lot of life. Exposure.
Well used. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Enneagram, there's 9 different personality types and different wings, and it's a whole thing that you guys need to read. It's very intense, but it gives you like a baseline of a number 1 to 9, kind of like 20 different things that correspond to your number, what your number was like as a kid, what your deadly sins are, what your fears are, what drives you, how you react in different situations. And then obviously everyone and anyone isn't just one number. So it goes into different aspects of different numbers that you embody, which is very cool. So Tashima and I are going to say what each one of our numbers are and then read a few traits on that number and kind of get into it. And the cool thing about this book, guys, if you're self-aware, you can learn a lot about yourself in this book. I'll say personally, the way I found out about this book was from a coworker that I used to work with. He would talk about it frequently because he was very into all the different numbers and personalities. And he told me the number that he thought that I was. And I was very intrigued, and I got the book and I read all of that number. And I was a little taken aback, almost insulted, because I thought that I was a different number. If I were to read it, I would have like ranked myself differently. But the more and more I read that number, which he was correct, I am the number that he suggested.
Really?
And the number that I thought he was actually the number that I thought I was the same one that he was. And then he kind of would go into detail about, no, here's why I think I am. But my number is like a sidestep of that number and different things too. So Yeah, very, very
That
interesting.
is interesting.
And if you read the book, you can really kind of learn things about other people in your life.
Yeah.
And it just gives you more understanding to why they do things the way that they do.
But it also says not to go around like
No, you don't go around and telling people what their number
labeling
is and
people.
labeling,
Yeah.
correct. But I think if you read, you can see different
Yeah,
traits of
naturally.
people that you know, and it
Right.
gives you more background to why people think the way they do, why people operate the way that they do. Because it can be something that really irritates you about something else. You're like, why are they so like this all the time? And I think this, yeah, it's not to
Yeah.
go around diagnosing people, it's to help you learn and understand why people do the things that
Right.
they do.
And you'll naturally, as you read it, like when I was reading it, as soon as I got to a particular number, I was like, this has to be my mom.
Mm-hmm.
This is my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know her? You know, or like, oh, this has to be this person. It just, you know, it just very interesting.
Mhm.
Like you can't help but start comparing the
Correct.
things that you're reading to the people that you have in your life.
Mhm.
And then it also makes sense, like you said, why sometimes, you know, if you are butting heads about something, or this person is always late, or this person just is like never wants to do anything,
Right.
now you have a better understanding of, okay, let me
Exactly.
meet them where they are.
Right.
So instead of always giving them a hard time because they don't want to go out and do something, how about I come over?
Yeah. You
You
can have a
know,
little
like-
bit more grace in those
Correct.
situations, right?
Mhm. So tell me about you. I
Okay.
want to know all about Max.
All right. So I am a 6. And type 6 is called the loyalist. So each number has the first page of the chapter is what it's like to be a 6. There are 20 different things here. I relate to a lot of them, not all of them, but yeah, I got quite a few I'm going to read to let the besties in on what Mags is like. So what it's like to be a 6. I've selected a few of them. I'm always imagining and planning for the worst. I often don't trust people who are in authority. People say I am loyal, understanding, funny, and compassionate. I act quickly in a crisis, but when things settle down, I fall apart. Being sure I've made the right decision is almost impossible. I'm aware that fear has dictated many of my choices in life. I don't like to find myself in unpredictable situations. I don't trust people who give me too many compliments. It helps me to have things in some kind of order. I have to know people for a long time before I can really trust them, and I am skeptical of things that are new and unknown. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the epitome of the song, Sometimes I Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me.
One thing that it said about, I like that it went into detail for 6s and just imagining worst case scenarios, that it's not more so about, like, there's a fear there. There's a fear of like, this could happen, that could happen, what do you do if? But it said that a 6 is more so the anxiety. So it gave an example. Fear is what you feel when someone breaks into your apartment with a ski mask and they're chasing you around with a chainsaw. Anxiety is what it feels like when you imagine someone breaking into your apartment. And I'm that.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation, I'm very like, wow, what if someone just walked in here and just, you know, shot up the whole place? Or what if someone, I think that when I go out places constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then when I talk to more people, I'm like, a lot more people do that than I really realize.
sure.
Like, this isn't just a...
Most of all of our problems are in our head.
Correct.
Like, they never actually happen.
Correct. Right. So, yeah. So that's basically what it's like to be a 6 in a nutshell.
Well, let me get my glasses now. I came prepared because I knew we were going to be in a book. All right. So, you have a bookmark. I should have. I just put stars on all my pages.
It was either that or dog ear. You know how I feel about the dog ear.
Oh, I
don't like
Look
to
at my
dog-
pages.
I don't like to dog ear highlight. I'm like, can I have an erasable pen, please, so I can get rid of this stuff?
Book. Okay. Here we go. So I am a type 1, the perfectionist, which before I even really got into this book where it lists what all of the different types are, I had, and it gives like a little brief synopsis of what this type is. I definitely felt like this has got to be me. And I also like that it tells you a healthy type 1, average type 1,
Yes.
and an unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can kind of see like where I am. I'm average. I'm not healthy, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Did you skip it?
Did I?
It's right
here
here.
we go. Sorry. So what it's like to be a 1. People have told me I can be overly critical and judgmental. I don't feel comfortable when I try to relax. There's too much to be done. Details are important to me. So true. If I say I'll do it, I'll do it. I spend a lot of time thinking about how I could be a better person. I do my best when working on a project, and I wish others would do the same so I wouldn't have to redo their work. Literally me in a nutshell. And then I'm really disappointed when other people don't do their part. I put this one on here though because I do feel that way, but over time I've grown to just accept people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change the fact that I'm disappointed
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't level up, but I can't expect everyone to do and act the same way that I do.
That's
Does
a
that make
hard,
sense?
yeah, that's a hard thing. That's something I'm
Yeah.
constantly working on too.
I have definitely, that is something I learned years ago. Basically, like, quick story. I got upset because a friend of mine didn't tell me that they were going to do something, and it wasn't like a big deal. I was just kind of like, dang, why didn't she tell me?
Mm-hmm.
And the person that I was dating at the time just really couldn't understand why I was so upset. And I'm
Mhm.
like, but we tell each other everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, she doesn't have to tell you. I'm like, yeah, but she's my best friend. Why wouldn't she tell me?
Was this me?
No.
Okay. I was like,
No,
this is getting awkward. Okay.
And he basically was like, you can't expect for everyone to do everything the same way that you would. And at that moment was when that light bulb came on. I was like, I mean, you're right. Like, I can't even argue with that.
No, that's
And that
good.
was the moment that I was just like, just because I do it this way does not mean that everybody else has to.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a healthy.
I know that intellectually, but it still bothers me.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
good
like
that
I
you
said,
were
it
able to,
doesn't
like-
stop me from being disappointed,
Right.
but I have more realistic expectations
Mhm.
of people
Got it.
for that reason.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
So this book also has different wings too, as we mentioned before.
Mhm.
So you're not one whole thing. I'm not fully a 6. So for me, the couple of wings that the number 6 has is also the number 5 and the number 7. And there are different personality traits that you pick up from either one of those too. So
Right.
more specifically, I am a 6 with a 7 wing. And 6s with a 7 wing are a delightful surprise, reflecting the playfulness of 7, the enthusiast. They are entertaining, animated, and adventuresome. They are willing to risk, albeit only a little, so the boundaries of the 6 are stretched to accommodate more options. But the 6-wing 7 doesn't completely separate from their anxiety, so there is always a backup plan in case an adventure becomes a misadventure. 6-7 wings are far more extroverted and willing to sacrifice themselves for loved ones than 6s with 5 wings. And just for reference, a 6 with a 5 wing is a lot more introverted, only does solitary activities or pursue hobbies. They may ruminate too much. They have a lot of unproductive thinking. They can like think a lot about things but never take action,
Okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's not really.
And yeah, 6-wing 7s are very like, okay, I'm worried and I'm anxious, but I'm going to do it anyway. And it's going to be all right. And I think that
sounds
pretty
about
much how
right.
I am. Like, it's not without worry, but I'm still going to do the thing because I want to do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find mine.
Mine is a few pages after.
Oh, here we go.
the-
Wings.
Yeah.
So, ones with a 2 wing and then ones with a 9 wing. So ones with a 9 wing or ones with a 2 wing are more extroverted, warm, helpful, empathetic on the high side of 2, but they can be more critical and controlling on the low side of 2. They are effective in problem solving for both individuals and groups. They are generous in their response to church, education, community, government, and family. Ones with a 2 wing talk too much and try to accomplish too many tasks in a day. And then ones with a 9 wing tend to be more introverted, detached, and relaxed, more idealistic and objective. They are often more circumspect, thinking before they speak to avoid saying something wrong or erroneous. They'll pause before finishing a thought. Didn't I say that?
Yes, you did.
So I definitely say I pull from both.
For sure.
Equally. Now, at first I was like, oh, I'm a 9 with people that I, outside of my bubble, and I'm a 2 in my bubble. But having reread this, I am pulling from both on a regular. Now that I've read that again, definitely.
Yes.
Like all of those things just in a 24-hour period.
What I like about this too is it talks about what your number is like at work, what your number was like as a child, what your number. I'm just trying to convince people to go out and buy this book. Like, we're not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. We just think it's a really good book that could be very helpful depending on. Now, how you react in stress and security, you pull from different numbers from there too. Yeah. So essentially, in a nutshell, it describes that everyone is every number at some point.
Correct.
But you have one that you kind of gravitate towards and one that is going to be your natural inclination to things. So I love that part of it, because a lot of times when you take personality tests or look at things, it's like you are this thing and this is who you are.
Correct.
But this is like, this is who you are, but you're also all these other things too.
Right.
And this situation is likely to pull this side out of you, and that's why. This situation is likely to pull this number out of you, and that's why. So the number that I thought I was, that I mentioned before, and shout out to Rob, who even directed me to this book, was type 3, which is the performer. And this is someone who's highly motivated, always trying to accomplish something, really likes the accolades of getting those accomplishments. But the thing with the 3, their downside is that they can get very greedy and almost step on other people to get ahead.
Which you are definitely not.
And when I read the 3, I was like, okay, I have some, definitely some of these traits, but then I won't do it dirty. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was like, well, I guess he's right. It is a 6. But some of the things are, a 6 can be a little pessimistic, and a 6 can be, I do like that it said 6s at work are very strong, because that is the person, if you tell them a plan, they're going to find the holes in your plan. Not to shit all over it, but because they care about you and they want you to see this may not work out for this. But that can easily be taken as, can't tell that person
depending
anything.
On their
every
number.
Time, correct.
They'll be like, wow, she's always shitting on my ideas.
Right. But it's like, it's coming from a good place. So reading it was like, wow, you see me and you see what my intentions are. So
some of it is not easy to take.
Correct.
Like some of the things where it's pulling back the curtain on things that we know about ourselves, but we find justification for it, just kind of like what you said, like, I find holes, but it's to help you. Like somebody could misinterpret that or take that completely the opposite of what your intention is. With this book, it's not going to tell you all the things that you want to hear about how amazing you are. It's going to literally go down to the white meat.
Yeah, I felt a little bad reading about myself.
Some of it, I'm like, ugh. Like, I know that I've heard people say, and it's usually in passionate moments where somebody say, I can never please you, or yeah, you're always this, you're always that. And it's not that I feel like, I don't want people to feel like they can't please me.
Right.
Or live up to these expectations that I have. It's more of but these are just the expectations that I have. So why do I have to compromise that just because you're incapable of meeting them? That doesn't make me, I don't feel like I should feel bad for that. You shouldn't feel bad for it either.
Right.
But I'm not going to lower my standards just because you can't jump that high. So, yeah, it definitely, it kind of says in here, yeah, that's not right.
Right.
Yeah, but I could justify it. And the book is like, no. That's what we're not going to do.
It forces you to be objective, for sure.
Does.
If you really look at everything, because again, you will see yourself in different parts of it. So before we wrap up, I just thought it would be cool to let the besties know what all the numbers are. Okay, so as you mentioned, you're a 1. The book is also not going to go in order, too. So that's why I'm flipping back and forth. They have a reason for why they don't, but it's not in chronological numerical order. So, as you said, the 1 is the perfectionist. Type 2 is the helper. They have a quote under this. I want you to be happy, but I want to be the reason. Every little thing has a quote. I won't read all of them. So, as I said, type 3 is the performer. Type 4 is the romantic. Type 5 is the investigator. Type 6 is the loyalist. Type 7 is the enthusiast. Type 8 is the challenger. And type 9 is the peacemaker.
I want to read this quote really quick from here. So for the perfectionist, the spiritual transformation, it says, don't hide your true self behind that veneer of perceived perfection. A person does not need to be perfect to be good. And I was like,
finger snaps.
Finger snaps. There's one other quote. Let me find. I have so many highlighters. I don't know if you guys can see this book. But in the beginning, it just kind of talks about the author's journey on like how he got to writing this book. So there's a lot of stuff in here that just really spoke to me through his own journey. But he says the first product of self-knowledge is humility.
Indeed.
And this book definitely embodies that. Like, in order to really understand yourself, you have to be willing to say, I'm not perfect.
Right.
And I'm not always right. And not everything that I think is okay is okay. And you have to be willing to step outside yourself and have self-awareness, really, to be able to appreciate the value of this book.
Absolutely.
So thank you for recommending it to me.
Yes, indeed. You're welcome. So I have one too, a path for transformation for 6s. So a regular centering prayer or meditation practice is vital for every number, but particularly for 6s. Your mind never stops working. It's filled with voices expressing vacillating opinions, doubts about other people's trustworthiness, imagined worst case scenarios, and questions about your own ability to make good decisions.
Nice.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I stay in prayer. Please know.
Yeah.
Your girl's covered over here. But meditating helps a lot too, just to relax the mind. And the whole purpose of meditation, they say, to focus on the breath, but it's understanding that when you are sitting still for any length of time, you're going to have thoughts come into your head.
Oh, yeah.
Your head is not going to be empty. The purpose of meditation is learning how to accept that as a thought and then release it.
Correct.
Go back to your breath. Go back to just trying to empty your mind. So yeah.
That's awesome. I've been doing some meditation too, and I really feel like there's been a shift from when I originally, like many moons ago, started meditating. Like I feel like back in the day, it was just like this, you have to clear your thoughts and you have to say these mantras and stuff to just like keep your mind empty to be able to receive.
Right.
But now it's more of like, it feels like there's a shift of, it's okay. The thoughts are all going to be there.
Correct.
It's just really being able to filter through them, like to accept the thought and move it out.
If you don't know any better, you think you're doing it wrong if you're thinking a lot while you're meditating. But it's like that is the purpose of learning how to redirect those thoughts, because you're human. You're going to be thinking about stuff. Because I would sit down and I would like, okay, gotta empty the dishwasher, gotta do this. And it's like, no. Okay, now I'm like, I still have the thought, and all right, boom, acknowledge it, and now you're gone.
And one of the people that I use through Peloton for meditation, like sleep meditation, she basically was recommending before you even go to bed, just get a book and just dump your thoughts. Just whatever it is, all the things you have to do, all the things from the day, just take like less than 5 minutes, do a brain dump, and then you're more likely to have a more clear head going into meditation, having gotten all that stuff out.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So I haven't actually done that part of it, because usually I'm just like, I just want to go to bed.
There's so much self-improvement to be done. It's hard to do all of it. Being real, you got to pick and choose a few things to really focus on, nail that down, and then now I'll start incorporating this new thing.
You don't have to do it all at once.
Correct. And you can't.
No.
So you'll disappoint yourself every single time if you try.
For sure. So I have something fun that I want to do.
Okay.
So it's not like, it's crime tea.
Crime tea. I like it.
So I'm basically going to have you pick out some, well, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the screen.
Okay.
Okay. So this one that we're going to play, you have to match the arrestee with their alleged crime.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and
So is this
play.
mugshots?
Yes.
Oh.
So if you look at the screen, you see people that have committed crimes, and you have to pick what you have to guess what crime they committed.
Okay.
So this is from thesmokinggun.com.
Wow.
So you tell me who you think does what. So who do you think committed? And for the audio listeners, I'm sorry.
Yes, please check us out on YouTube if you can. It's going to be necessary. And full disclaimer, I don't want nobody coming for me on any types of like racial stereotypes or like let me pick who I'm going to pick. This is just for funsies.
So theft from a motor vehicle. Who do you think committed this crime?
I think it's that guy right on top there.
On top? Mm-hmm. Okay. Statutory naughtiness.
I'm going to say my guy down on the end.
On the end?
With the dreads.
Okay. Narcotics possession.
I'm going to say my homeboy next to theft from a motor vehicle.
Domestic assault.
I'm going to say the guy right on top of where this that one? Is. Yep.
And then speeding, glass slate. Now, mind you, I think it's weird they're all wearing Wendy shirts. I just noticed that.
I just noticed that too.
So I don't know if this is just like a common theme, but this is weird.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right, let's see how I did.
Let's see how you did.
I got 2 out of 5 correct.
Okay, so... All right.
Okay.
Not too bad.
All right.
So now let me go back.
This is fun.
It is fun.
May I never have a mugshot where people can play this game like this.
So now you're going to match the arrestee with their alleged weapon.
Oh. Not Febreze.
So yeah, so we have a wrench, a golf club, a bottle of Febreze, a selfie stick, and a curling iron.
Okay.
Oh, that's so funny. So who do you think used the wrench? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think 4 used the wrench.
Okay. Golf club?
I think 2 used the golf club.
Okay.
I think 5 used Febreze. I think 1 used the selfie stick. And I think 3 used the curling iron.
Okay.
1 out of 5.
That's
wow.
so funny. One thing I do wish is that we could find out, like, how did this happen?
I agree. That would be next level.
What did you do that got you arrested for attacking someone with a bottle of Febreze? I mean, the golf club, anybody can get it.
No, agreed. Right.
So, yeah, that's a game.
So funny. Wow. Okay.
I just thought that would be really fun.
We got to do that more often. That was awesome. Good pick, teams.
Thanks.
All right. I want to get into our bestie highlight of the week before we head out. So when we went through the Am I the Asshole thread about the guy who basically wanted to put his son in a summer camp and not just have him chilling at home all summer.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
So I Wonder in Wonderland, our bestie said, not the a-hole. My 11-year-old son did not want to do more than 1 week of camp. So the rule now is he cannot touch electronics for the first 3 hours after he gets up. He has to read for 30 minutes, work on 2 pre-algebra math workbooks, and complete a chore as well daily. He once attempted to try to sleep in super late to avoid his task, but he cut into his own time and he learned the hard way.
Yeah.
That sounds fair.
And I think I put on there, sometimes they have to learn the hard way.
Indeed. Indeed. So thank you to our bestie, I Wonder in Wonderland. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That was fun, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button. We appreciate all of your comments, your views. Just keep showing us the love. And thank you so much. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye.
I really thought I was going to get all those right.
No, it's funny.
I really thought.
I mean, you saw the one I sent you. I think you got like one right.
You saw
it's
how
very
quickly I'm
tricky.
like, boom, 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 boom. What?
Yeah.
Oh boy, used Febreze?
Yeah. It's
He
really
didn't look like
interesting.
he owned a bottle of Febreze, which
No.
is why I never considered.
Yeah. You're like, statutory rate, what? Okay.
I was like, well, let me add it. I was correct on this. Funny, the ones I was correct on.
But at the golf club one, you were like, yeah, she looked like she was about that business.
Yeah, yeah.